What's going on YouTube? This is Tyler back again with another video, and apologies to all my subscribers for being MIA for the past couple of months, but trust me, I'm going to make it up to you in this video because we are going to be going through 700 cards that have been in my mail days for the past couple of weeks right now. Alright guys, you might want to grab a beverage. Got my nice Topo Chico, some nice bubbly water. Alright, we're going to jump straight into this because I have a lot of cards to go through. And I know you guys are wanting to see the goods. So, these are all the rejects. These are not going to PSA. This is everything that I bought that is essentially not gradable. So, first up, we've got a Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to get here in the light a little bit better. Got my computer here. This is a crowded workspace. I apologize for this. But also have a new desk set up. And let me know what you all think about this and whether or not you can see the cards or not see the cards. So, first up, Patrick Mahomes, Color Blast. This is a PSA 10 card. This would be, you know, right at maybe $1,000, $2,000 maybe. I honestly haven't even followed the market for this card. It is not gradable. Patrick Mahomes Leaf. Couple of Sage rookies. Again, PSA 10s of those are over 100 a piece. This was very disappointing. I paid almost maybe $500 or $600 for this card, but it has a huge surface dent in it, so no good. Seller did not disclose. Crusade rookies for Luka, no good. Some base. These are freebies that I got for an order that I purchased for Luka. Those are no good. Also got some Damian Lillard. So this is actually the Starburst parallel from Panini Brilliance. Very rare. You only get one or two of these a box. You all have seen me show videos of Kawhi Leonard. I sold a Kawhi Leonard PSA 10 for over $1,000. Not many Damian Lillards out there. Those are no good. This is actually the glossy Damian Lillard Hoops rookie. I forget why that one doesn't make it, and maybe it's because it has a crease, or maybe that's, I don't know, cat hair. I don't know. Kobe Bryant UD3. Couple of Mike Trout rookies, John Morant's. These all have surface scratches. LeBron James second year finest surface scratch. LeBron James Essentials from Chronicles. I think this is a corner issue. Surface issues on this Juan Soto. Then we also have a Juan Soto Donruss that has some issues. Anthony Davis Select, or Certified, sorry, Red. Anthony Davis Gold Standard rookie. These are very, very hard to get just because of the corners on the back. Also have Anthony Davis, Panini Brilliance. I think this is like the numbers insert. I bought a ton of these Fernando Tatis Bowman Heritage exclusive online set cards. These are all off-centered, every single one of them. So very difficult to get a centering grade on those. One that was actually really disappointing to me, again, that wasn't disclosed, is this Fernando Tatis Topps Chrome Refractor. Again, these are, you know, $300, $400, $500 cards, depending on when you bought them, but has surface issues. And again, these were not disclosed. So that's the risk that you play today, especially with everybody grading. It's another thing I wanted to really talk about is the proliferation of grading. I didn't really do it justice in my last video. I've been sort of absent for the past couple of months, and I'll just quickly go through these cards just so you see what I've been buying and what didn't necessarily make the cut. Everybody is grading cards nowadays. It is becoming exceptionally difficult. You know, whenever I bought these Devin Bookers and these Christian Pulisic's, I had this thought like, man, is the grading thing officially over? Like, is it something that arbitrage opportunity hasn't passed? Like, I bought these from sellers that looked very legitimate in terms of, you know, I wouldn't think that these would necessarily be cherry picked. Every single one of these has a surface issue, you know, and I paid almost $1,000 for these Devin Bookers. I can't exactly, it was maybe between $600 and $1,000. We're right around $100 to $150 a piece. Same thing with these Christian Pulisic's. You know, I paid almost $50 a piece for these, and every single one of these, this is a brand new set. Like, this is not an old set like the Devin Bookers. This is a brand new set. Every single one of these is cherry picked. Every single one. Now, granted, I bought a lot of cards, so these didn't make the cut. And yeah, they just didn't make the cut. But having said that, a lot of cards did make the cut, and we're going to jump into those here really, really quick. So, all right. But grading has become increasingly more competitive. I think everybody really understands that. And I'll go through some of these cards and highlight some of the big ones as we go. But yeah, grading has become exceptionally competitive. And I think a lot of that has to do with the sports card market. 2020 has been a bad year for a lot of people. And I'm extremely sympathetic to 2020 and all the tragedies that everybody has had to go through. Having said that, 2020 has been an amazing year for the sports card market. And I think it's actually been its best year. People are now beginning to realize what all of us have realized who have been in this game for the past couple of years. This is a non-traditional investment opportunity where many people are seeing this as art. And because of that, because of this being a non-investment opportunity and people are starting to see that, all it really took was a couple of ingredients to come together and have this market turn into what it has become. Now, granted, August was the peak. August was by far the peak sports card market. We have seen a pullback in September and October, but for the most part, that pullback is over. We're actually starting to see a rebound, and much of that pullback I don't want to necessarily say is because the market got too hot too fast. Some of that is absolutely true. The market got very hot very, very fast, and people made a lot of money. People have a lot of money on paper. People have traded in a lot of money and increased their assets. It has happened. It has happened with me. It has happened with others. This has been a fantastic year. I'm not going to lie. This has been by far the best year I've ever had in sports cards. Granted, I've been doing this for over 20 years. 25? I don't know how long. I guess it's 26 years. 26 years. This is by far my best year. And I've really taken the past 2 months off. I've been passively buying, but I've taken a lot of time off, and it's still by far my best year. Cards continue to appreciate. Top grades continue to appreciate. The high-end market is going crazy right now. I mean, we are seeing record sales across the board. Luka Doncic got kicked out of the playoffs. His stuff right now is higher today than it was in August for key cards. Now, not necessarily his, highest printed cards necessarily, but if you're looking at on-card autographs and high grade, if you're looking at contenders, national treasures, all of his various RPAs, those cards are doing extremely, extremely well. If you're looking at LeBron James on-card autographs, I mean, there's a ton of those hitting the market right now that haven't hit the market in a while because people are capitalizing on his 4th championship. Patrick Mahomes continues to set records. Now, obviously, we've seen a pullback in some of his Prism rookies and his Optic rookies, but they pulled back to a very healthy, sustainable number where they're trading at volume at these prices, and those prices are being maintained. Like, those cards have hit a floor. They're not going to go any lower. If they go lower, they're going to be bought up in volume because people are starting to see the talent that he is. The incredible run of youth talent that we've had over the past couple of years in every single league, coupled with influencers like Gary Vee getting involved, coupled with really people cashing out of other alternative investment forms, whether it be Bitcoin or whether they have been experiencing this massive run up in the real estate markets or the stock market. People are not as bullish on the stock market right now. Obviously, it's recovered a little bit, but there's still some uncertainty with that. There's some uncertainty with COVID. There's some uncertainty with what 2021 looks like. So there's all these other underlying economic conditions that really make some of those other more traditional investment forms have some inherent risk. Whereas sports cards in 2020 have just crushed everything. They have literally crushed everything. And if you've invested in the right players, if you've invested in the right plays, if you've invested in the right sets, and you've saw all of the different variables come together, you've done very, very well. Now, some of you are probably wondering why I had some of these flagged. So the way that I had these broken out is if I flagged a card, it had an issue with it, but I still wanted to have it be graded. More than likely, it was going to be a 9. More than likely, some of the other non-flagged ones were going to be 9s, but I flagged these because I wanted to showcase them all together, but I also wanted to pull these out and have them be segregated where they would likely be in a bulk order. So if it was flagged, it was going to be in a bulk order because more than likely this was going to be a Mint 9 card and it wasn't going to be a high value card. If it was going to be a PSA 10 or a PSA 10 candidate, I was going to send this economy. So I was literally going to send every single one of these economy. Now, thanks to Kawhi Leonard sucking in the playoffs, those probably aren't going economy anymore because he missed a golden opportunity. Speaking of golden, I think some of these cards I'm not really doing justice, so I'm going to have to do them justice really, really quick because you all might be missing it just because I'm not really talking about it. But some really cool cards that I'm getting. So I got 2 of these Gold Knights, and they're gold because of this gold foil down here at the bottom. Gold Knights are a very, very popular set. This is the base version versus the gold version. You can see silver versus gold. So really, really cool and happy to have these here. Probably both of those. I have both of those slated to go in economy order, but they're also going to be Mint 9s. I didn't flag those just because I knew that they were going to be high-end cards. Also have some Panini Brilliants. I've done really well with these, whether it be Kawhi, whether it be Anthony Davis. I bought a ton of these because I was expecting Kawhi to beat LeBron. Unfortunately, Kawhi couldn't even beat the Nuggets. And I have a lot of thoughts on that. In my opinion, the teams who did not have their head in the bubble and they had their head elsewhere, Milwaukee, Clippers, you all got embarrassed. And you deserve everything that you get because of you not being in the moment. All the other teams were there and they were present. The Nuggets were present. But the Clippers were not present. They had their head elsewhere, and they got exactly what they deserved, and I have no sympathy for them whatsoever. Really cool Zion Phoenix. I believe this is the red. And then also, I think that's a base. Yep, base. Yeah, so all of these cards, this currently is me. I'm filming this on November 10th. And I've bought all these cards. I want to say these were purchases between August and maybe midway through September, up through Labor Day. So this is about a month and a half worth of purchases. I bought a lot of cards in a month and a half's time period. The rest of those bubble mailers were purchases after Labor Day through roughly the end of October. And then obviously the next couple of purchases, which I haven't really bought a lot lately, that purchasing is going to ramp up soon. But I will likely have another mail day video shortly after Thanksgiving, as that's probably the next time that I'm going to have a batch worthy enough to show for everybody. Have a Flex Silver here. These Chronicles cards, they've done really, really well, but they have taken a massive plunge just because there's so many of them out there. That's what happened with 2018 Chronicles as well. However, those cards have rebounded nicely, especially Luka and Trey in high-grade form. So remains to be seen what that's going to look like for some of the other ones. This is a card that might also go in a regular or an express order, just because any old refractor or prism is doing very well, and this is a beautiful card. This Kobe is super, super sweet. I think PSA 10s, whenever I looked, I think they were around $800 to $1,000. I'll quickly pull up the order forms here. But guys, I believe this is $65,000 for the cards. I think. I have to go through my numbers. It's actually, I think, maybe more than that. This actually might be closer to $70,000. I'll go through the numbers, but this is just insane. I've had all this stuff just sitting here, and it's been literally collecting dust, literally. So I'm kind of glad that I have the energy and the effort to go through this. I would say the big changes in the PSA, economy stuff, and really a lot of things in sports just kind of turned me off for a while, and I put my attention to other things that were a little bit more productive for me. But now I have this massive backlog of cards that have to get out. Like they're piling up everywhere, and I have to get these things out because at this rate, by the time I send these things off, and I still don't know how I'm going to send them off. Like some of these cards literally need to go express, or they literally need to go economy, and I have no mechanism to do that unless I do a group sub, and I do not want to do a group sub. I don't want to do it, so I'm torn. Like PSA is like basically doing nails on a chalkboard right now to me and my ears and my rhythm. My rhythm has been greatly disrupted, and I don't really like for my routine or my rhythm to be disrupted because I had a really good thing going, and PSA, you just had to cut it off. I don't know why you had to do that. So a lot of these cards are not going to be eligible for a bulk. Now the bulk rates, they did increase the prices, but they also increased the declared value threshold. So you can now submit on cards up to $199 in value, which is different from $99. So more than likely we're not going to see as many upcharges, but at the same time, I mean, you're not going to get the cards back for at least 6 to 7 months. And this is $70,000 worth of inventory. Like, yeah, I can ship it out and get it back in 7 months, but who wants to do that? I would literally rather have, I don't know how many of these are actually going to be sent off to get graded. I think that it may be around 600. I would rather pay $600 or $20 per card times 600 cards and have the cards be back in 3 months. Like, that's what I want to do. I don't want to wait 6 months. Like, to me, time is more valuable than anything. For those of you who haven't seen my video on the time value of money and the return on investment, like, getting cards back faster is way better for this model. Now, that's coming from the person who's literally sat on these cards for the past 2 months and literally could have had them out the door a long time ago. I get it. I've been lazy, but there's also been a lot of things going on, and I've decided to reprioritize things that I'm doing. Having said that, whenever I do finally get these things sent off, I want them to be back very, very quickly. I don't want them to sit. Right now, the turnaround time is around 6 to 7 months. Who knows what it's going to be if I submit it now going in next year. I mean, we're talking about if I submit them right now, best case scenario is I get these things back in July if I submit bulk. And that's crazy. That's crazy. Now, I will say, and we're talking about a lot of different things here. I'm going all over the place because I haven't done a video in a while. PSA has done a phenomenal job at keeping up with demand, because demand has increased across the board for not only PSA but Beckett and SGC. I submitted 3 orders in May. 2 to PSA and 1 to SGC. I submitted a couple other orders, but I'm just bulk orders that have long-term time frames to come back. My SGC order was a 20-day order. Okay, 20-day order. The 2 PSA orders were bulk orders. As of November 10th, right now, those PSA bulk orders, one is in QA2, the other is in assembly. The SGC order, I still have no word back on. It's not even been graded yet. Like, they are still sitting on this order, which blows my mind. And I might have to chop this one up because there's a lot of these cards. All right. So SGC, last time. I'm going to do a review whenever I get these cards, when I get these cards back. So I sent an email to SGC saying, what's going on? The SGC order was a 391 card order. It was over $3,000. Well, yeah, right over $3,000. I did get a bulk discount for that because it was a volume submission. This is a really nice card. So this is the bronze parallel. I think these are SSP'd to, I thought maybe 5 or less, maybe it's 10 or less, but really, really nice John Morant. Now also a red parallel here, so again, pretty cool cards. Maybe those would go a little bit at a higher service level, obviously the bulk for sure. So my order was received by SGC in early to mid-June. And it's a 20-day order, so 20 business days is about 1 month. It's 4 weeks. So it was supposed to be back mid-July. Mid-July came and went. Mid-August came and went. Mid-September came and went. Mid-October came and went. It's almost now mid-November. And I'm seeing orders that are popping that were submitted in July as 20-day orders. And mine still hasn't been touched. It is a 391 card order. Other people's orders are like 10 and 15 cards. Now, what they're trying to do, what I suspect from a business perspective, is they're trying to satisfy the most number of customers as possible. It's probably easier for them to get those customers satisfied so they don't have to deal with the complaints rather than me. But I'm the one who submitted 391 cards. Like you would think that I would have some preferential treatment. Now, they did give me some preferential treatment in that I got a bulk discount, but everybody has the opportunity to do that bulk discount. I can't help it that people are submitting just 10 cards and they're doing a onesie-twosie order whenever I'm submitting almost 400 cards. Like, I ponied up the cash for the cards and I ponied up the cash for the grading fees. Like, it just is what it is. Like, I should get priority. Like, I don't understand it. So, really, really disappointed with SGC. I will have a review, and it will be a thorough review, and there's going to be a lot of factors to it. It will be as unbiased as possible. But obviously, turnaround time, clearly, they're failing. Like, they will get a failing grade. Beckett, on the other hand, has done well to weather the storm, but I think that they're doing well only because their demand is not necessarily increasing. It may be increasing, but not at the rate that SGC and PSA experienced. SGC volumes, and here's a LeBron rookie. I don't think this is going to grade as well as I was hoping, but we'll see. PSA's volume has increased exponentially because they have established themselves over the past couple of years. This was identified in 2016 whenever I made the change, really way before the masses made the change. Modern card values were much higher in a PSA label back then. People just refused to see it. I took advantage of it for a solid 3 years up until really people started catching on to it. And PSA isn't the number one game in town. It just is. Having said that, Beckett has a niche. SGC had a niche, but that niche is no longer there. Their niche was the turnaround time advantage. Whenever the pandemic hit, them being based in Florida, they were still open, whereas PSA in California, Beckett in Texas, they were shut down for a little bit. Even with that, PSA has been able to bounce back. So as much flack as people have given PSA for turnaround time issues, they have done a phenomenal job. They have been truly world-class in stepping up their game. And not only that, they've redesigned their website. Yes, they have increased prices. So has Beckett, so has SGC. They have completely revamped their operations in terms of receiving. They've began implementing robotics that will likely be utilized for receiving purposes, but also processing. Now the way that they receive the orders, the sticker on the outside of the box, you don't necessarily have to write what service level the best order is within the box. Like, all of this is now automated. So they have made substantial improvements, and they have been completely transparent in communicating this to its customers. So that is greatly appreciated, and it's something that I'm hoping that a lot of the collectors really, really appreciate. But SGC, not so much. Now, granted, SGC was never on par with PSA. They were competing in different territories. I mean, this is the equivalent of a company like McDonald's going against a regional fast food chain. The regional fast food chain was SGC. They're just not equipped to handle the business and the volume that they got, right? So I can't really blame them so much because nobody really saw the pandemic happening. Nobody foresaw PSA's door shutting and Beckett's door shutting, and then SGC being the only game in town, and thus being the, having that advantage for, a 1 to 2 month time period, which that's why they got the backlog that they did, and that's why people are still submitting to them to this day, because once that market share grew, they grew their really their brand presence, and now a lot of people are using them. I won't say never. I'm not using them anytime soon. Let's just put it that way. I'm very frustrated that I'm getting passed over with that. But PSA, on the other hand, has done a phenomenal job. So, if I sent these cards off bulk, the ones that qualify as bulk, I'm still expecting probably around a 6-month turnaround time. And can I live with that? Yeah, I can live with that. But what does that mean my strategy is going to be moving forward? Because I can't have a 6-month minimum turnaround time. Because right now, the bulk orders that I submitted in June, those are due back. One is probably going to come back right before Thanksgiving. The other one probably is going to come back right around December. I mean, that is still 5 to 6 months. 5 to 6 months is okay every now and then. It's not okay for the norm. So I think the name of the game moving forward is going to have to be, you're going to have to pay more in order to get your cards back faster. And the only way to pay more if you don't have access to an economy order is you're going to have to increase your game. You're going to have to go to a much higher price threshold. And that doesn't mean that you submit this $100 Fernando Tatis card at a $75 regular service level. That means that you're going to have to start buying $500 and $600 cards on the norm and have those be gradable candidates and have those be sent off so that you can get them back in about a month's time frame. That way you can continue to process cards quicker and your return will be much, much quicker. So that's the struggle, is because finding cards that are in that price range, that $500 and $600 price range, is very hard to do. It's very hard. Those cards are limited. The reason why they're that expensive is because they are limited. This card has a lot of copies made, or this card has a lot of copies made. They're not going to be $500 or $600. There's going to be 1,000 of these printed. Trying to find a version of this card that is worth submitting at a regular level, you're narrowing your lead funnel, so to speak. So it's going to be a little bit more challenging. My PSA orders are probably, if I go that route, and again, it's going to be very hard because I haven't necessarily found that supply out there that's gradable yet. I haven't taken the plunge fully yet. But finding that's going to be hard. But what I do find, it's going to be a much smaller scale. So I actually think that's going to be much easier to manage. I think the mail days may potentially be a little bit more beneficial. So right now you are seeing the same card over and over and over. This is bread and butter, right? So I pay whatever price I pay for these. I get them graded. I have a very nice return on them. I pay $10, $15 for these. I get them graded for whatever the fee is, and I sell them for 60, 70, 80, depending on the time of the year and his performance. I have a very comfortable margin and volume here. But is it exciting to see these over and over and over? I mean, it might be. Sometimes it is, because sometimes, like in Patrick Mahomes' case, these same margins balloon exponentially because Patrick Mahomes turns into Patrick Mahomes. That's exciting. But at the same time, wouldn't it be a lot better to see like some autographs or some low-numbered parallels, not just sprinkled in every now and then, but have that be sort of the norm. So that's what I'm thinking, really going into the next year, is having that be the case. I want that to be really the norm going forward, is there being much more expensive cards, because in order to get the cards back quick, you're going to have to pay $50 to $75 a card, depending on what service level you submit at. So yeah, lots and lots of options and a lot of things to discuss. So yeah, it's an interesting time in the grading community. I will say I'm very glad that sports are back. I was not as thrilled with the NBA's return. The NBA's, play in the bubble. Baseball was exciting, but for some reason I just wasn't as into it. And I don't know if it's just because there wasn't a lot of fans. I honestly don't know why I didn't get into baseball this year. I watched one game in the World Series. And usually I'm watching every single game because it's a nail biter. Like, congratulations, Mookie Betts. I had a ton of high-end Mookie Betts cards. Whenever he was in Boston, I kept singing his praises. I said, as soon as Tom Brady retires, he's going to be the guy that people in Boston want. The price appreciation never came, and it really, really was frustrating. And I sold everything. And now he has a second World Series, and he has an MVP, and he's amazing. Like, he is one of the hottest guys in baseball right now. So yeah, but I missed that entire ride. I missed it. Like, I don't know if they're not gonna have asterisks necessarily in the World Series this year, but it kind of is like a mental asterisk, just because a lot of people were checked out. Like NBA ratings, the finals ratings, weren't they down like 40-50% this year? Like crazy. I watched game one and I cut it off completely. Really, I just cut it off. Just wasn't really that interesting to watch. A lot of the antics that took place in the bubble, I just really wasn't that fond of. Football, I'm so glad that football is back. Football feels like sports are back now that football is back. Being able to watch the Chiefs every single weekend, fascinating. I've actually missed the Chiefs games for the past couple of weekends. I've been able to pick them up, watch the first 3 or 4 this year, but been out of town or had family in or whatever, so I haven't really had a chance to watch the past couple. But being able to watch football on the regular, it just feels like sports are back. Same thing with college football. So I'm very happy to see all of those return to normal, because now it feels like fall. It feels like Thanksgiving is coming around the corner. It feels like Christmas is coming. It's just that time of the year where the things that you expect to be there are there. Playing basketball in August just didn't feel right. Playing it in September didn't feel right. Like, even starting the baseball season, after the 4th of July just didn't feel right to me. And I'm hoping that next year things are a little bit more on a normal cadence and a normal rhythm, where it's going to be a little bit more enjoyable. So yeah, that's really been my thoughts about it. And during the downtime where I wasn't really necessarily checking out sports, it really gave me an opportunity to just go do something else, to try to check out of this entire political landscape, to try and check out of what's going on in the world. Usually sports is my escape for that. Sports cards are my escape for that. That really got muddied this year, as everyone knows. So it made the entire experience, especially over the past couple of months, not very enjoyable. And if I had done these videos in August and in September and in October, I wouldn't have had the energy and enthusiasm and the joy and what I normally bring that I would have, because it just wasn't a really enjoyable sports period from my perspective. So yeah, I put my energy into other things at that time, and that's just sort of what I did for the past couple of months. So I know a lot of people really, really enjoy the content, and I cannot thank the people who watch this a lot. I've met a lot of you. A lot of you have messaged me on Instagram. A lot of you have, reached out and, even, chatted and called to talk about sports and cards and collecting and, different opportunities that you have. I love doing that. And honestly, I really have missed that over the past couple of months. So, and I apologize for not really being able to bring that to you all over the past couple of months. But hopefully things can get a little bit more back to normal. Being able to do 2 to 3 videos a week is really, really challenging. It's very, very challenging. Through the summer during COVID, it was easier, mainly because there wasn't a lot of things to do. It was a good escape. However, it is very challenging. Making this content is time consuming. Editing and uploading and just not only the YouTube piece, but just the actual buying the cards. Like I work a 40-hour-a-week job. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, depending on what that is. And then doing this on top of that, and also doing the YouTube piece to it, all the market research, all the analysis, all the engagement, but then trying to have a life outside of work and outside of entrepreneurial endeavors. Like, this is a passion for me. I don't want to say that it necessarily feels like work, but sometimes you can get in that rut and it feels like it is it's kind of a rut, and it feels like, oh, I got to do this. It's not like I want to do it. It's more of like, oh, I have to do it because it's an expectation. And yeah, it's kind of sort of been where I've been at. So I wanted to take a little bit of a break and, recalibrate a little bit. So I know I'm not doing these cards any justice whatsoever. I will say I'm trying to point out some of the cards that are a little bit unique that you may not necessarily see. So Russell Wilson Score Rookie. This is the Gold Zone parallel. So it's not just the base rookie, which is really, really nice. And I just realized every single time I do these videos, I have really, really bad fingernails. I don't know why that is. I swear I take showers. I don't know what's going on. Yep, so don't look at those. SP Authentic, Russell Wilson. The reason why I'm buying these, if you look at the Giannis version of this, same year, just different sport, very easy grading opportunity where you can do very, very well, and that is why I'm doing it. So, yeah, Russell Wilson, hats off. He was an MVP candidate. I think he still is an MVP candidate, but my boy Patty is taking the lead on that, I believe. So, yeah, Patty is doing great. Giannis Antetokounmpo, man, this PSA 10 version of this would have been closer to like a $800 card, but now I think it's dropped a lot. I don't know what it is right now. It may have rebounded a little bit. So speaking of that SP Authentic Giannis, keep buying those because they do very, very well. Michael Porter Jr., this is the red choice auto. Trae Young, stuff is really hot in the off season. I really, really, really hope that some of these gem, and with some of the way that some of his prices have trended, I may actually try to get some of these back a little bit quicker with the basketball season starting in December. I'm really interested to see how the basketball season is going to start. I haven't really kept up with it to see if are they going to have fans or are they not going to have fans. I honestly haven't even paid attention to it. I don't know if they're going to do a bubble, if they're not going to do a bubble. I would assume not. But it's really, really interesting, and I would like to see what they're going to do about it. Okay, so we're winding down here. I have like 2 more stacks to go through. So Trae Young, Revolution. I'm flying through these cards, guys. I'm not saying anything about them. I'm not giving you any market analysis. I just have the figures in my Excel spreadsheets. I think this is around 700 cards. It may be a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. And I think the value is right around 70,000. It may be a little bit higher. I'm just eyeballing this based on very outdated information. So things could have changed in a positive or negative direction. This is a negative direction, unfortunately. Thanks, Lou Bob, for sucking the last half of the year. Steph Curry. And you'll also see that these were arranged in order to be sent a certain way. So all these cards were going to go economy. So now I have to go back through and resegregate everything. And that's honestly why I haven't really done the video, is because I have everything that's in order right now is in order how it was logged in PSA and also in my Excel spreadsheets. Everything is in order. Now that I can't submit these via economy, I have to break all of these cards out that are 2017 and older versus the new things, reconfigure my entire Excel spreadsheets, and redo all of my PSA order forms, everything. And the rate limiting step for that was really doing this video because I just want to get them on camera to catalog that I have them and really show them off and show what I've been buying, especially during the past couple of months. But this is the Lightning parallel. Now, granted, this does have an issue. It has a surface ding, but this is it's not the regular base card. It's the Lightning parallel. So I definitely wanted to get these guys on camera so that I could get started with that, because it's going to be a lot of work to have all of that be corrected. So I really, really hope that I can get that done this week. I'm going to be trying to prioritize that for the next couple of days. Klay Thompson, these do very, very well, and I really hope that they grade well because these are very, very easy ROI opportunities. So we're winding down here for the things that I bought. I'm actually am I sending in one of these? This card looks like crap. Can't tell if this is on the case or not, but I actually may be sending in one of these Devin Bookers. So guarantee it's not going to come back gem mint. Eloy Jimenez, blue auto, blue wave auto, Jason Dominguez, refractor auto. So you're seeing a mixture here. You're seeing cards that are like $200 a piece. You're seeing cards that are $10 a piece. You're seeing this, it's what, well, it was 60, 70, 80. You're seeing this, it's like 20. I mean, it's all over the place. So now I'm going to have to go back through and redo everything. We're not done. Still have a couple more. So the cards that I did pull out are actually big guns. So these three are definitely going to be submitted at a higher service level for sure. And I knew that way back in the day. So I actually have a Cristiano Ronaldo auto jersey, 1 of 1. So I'm not a big fan of Leaf, but with the big soccer craze going on, I was like, dude, I got to get a Ronaldo auto. So got a Ronaldo auto. Also Jalen Green. Jalen Green, I believe, is the #2 rated draft prospect for the 2021 NBA draft. He's going to be playing in the NBDL this upcoming year. If he turns out to be a stud, this is his first on-card autograph, and it is also Upper Deck, which, yeah, well, I'm not saying that. I like Upper Deck. Let's just put it that way. Ja Morant. This is the Optic. I believe this is blue. Maybe purple. I don't know. Whatever one is numbered to 49. There's a purple stars number to 49 and a blue. I think this is blue. I honestly can't remember what I paid for this, but it is absolutely gorgeous. And this is going to be a PSA 10 grade. So those are definitely going to go in its own order. Last but not least, so I made a separate video about this, and I just never uploaded it, but I'm just going to go through these here really quickly. This is what I would like to call the worst $4,000 that I've ever spent. Save the worst for last. So I bought this deal on Blowout Forums. Apparently this was from a collection that a member found really unsearched for the past couple of years. So I bought everything of what he had listed that I was interested in, sight unseen. And I would say that was probably a mistake. Now, granted, I still think that I'm going to be able to make money on this, but I'm not going to make as much as I thought, because as it turns out, every single one of these really looks like they've been cherry picked. So first two are Upper Deck star rookie Steph Curry's. Those are all going to be 9s. Star rookie Seth Curry Upper Deck rookies. No PSA 10s in that batch. The Prestige rookie. A couple of the draft rookies. And again, these are relatively easy grades. I graded a bunch of these back in the day. There's not a single PSA 10 in the bunch. All PSA 9s or worse. Same with these draft editions. All those are not PSA 10s. Same with the Tournament Titans. You can see like edge wear on some of these. I'm sending them all. I'm literally not pulling out anything. I'm sending everything in. Pinnacle Giannis's. Those are not gradable. Fleers really are either going to be PSA 9s or worse. So my SP Authentic Giannis's that are very easy grades, most of them do have like corner dings on the back. So that's a challenge, unfortunately. The worst ones, I knew that these were probably going to be bad, is the Kevin Durant's. So I have some Kevin Durant rookies, and these are the black borders. These are incredibly hard to grade. I have 30 of them. There might be one PSA 9. The rest of these are PSA 7s, 8s, maybe some 6s. So honestly, not even worth grading probably, but I'm just going to get them graded for the heck of it, so I don't have to deal with returns. Some of these actually might be gradable. SP Authentic, or the SP Rookie Edition card. Also another, same thing, just different number. And then I have some of these 1987 parallels, or sorry, 2007 parallels. So those are nice. And then he did throw in some freebies, which I did appreciate. And some of these might actually do okay. 2 Topps Chrome LeBron James's from 2006, 2007. Also a base Topps, another base Topps. This was one of those rookie Hummer Fleer Ultras, and then a rookie Highlight Reel Maker. So low end, beat up LeBrons, but I'll still take them. Overall, the guy was super, super nice, and he actually was very thorough in describing everything. But at the same time, they didn't necessarily meet my grading standards. So my advice, if you ever spend $4,000 on cards sight unseen, request pictures, just so that you know what you're getting into. I had predicted a resale value conservatively of around $12,000 before buying it, which is why I pulled the trigger on the deal. However, after pulling the trigger on the deal and after looking at the cards, I clearly noticed that that wasn't going to be something I was going to get. So the resale value is probably going to be closer to around $6,000 or $7,000, and still pretty good, but not the $12,000 I was hoping for. But overall, I think that we just went through like 700 cards. I hope that you all enjoyed this. I went through this very, very quickly because I don't want to have you all watch a 50-minute video, which is this is pushing on right now. We will see you guys next time. Thanks.